Have you found yourself recycling the same New Year resolutions for the past 5 years? What's the real resolution you need, and why do we often stumble when it comes to keeping our commitments? Before we answer these, make sure that you like this video, subscribe to our channel if you haven't already, and hit that notification bell if you don't want to miss any of our videos. Okay, so every year around the last week of December, people spend a lot of time and maybe money planning and preparing for their New Year resolutions. While resolutions are meant to be personalized, more often than not, most people have the same resolutions. Lose weight, be more active, eat healthier, be more productive, master a new skill or a language, get a new hobby, or even practice self-care and improve mental health. Unfortunately, most people tend to give up within the first 2 weeks of the new year. So, what should New Year resolutions look like? What should they lead us to? Resolutions are usually a way of improving ourselves. Every year, we look forward to a fresh start, a clean slate, to start over and try again. We try our best to make goals to become a better version of ourselves. As Catholics, we might make some of these resolutions too, but what should be our ultimate goal? There's nothing wrong with focusing on physical health and well-being, but what about our spiritual health? The goal of our lives is heaven. We need to become saints. While that sounds nice, it might seem practically impossible. But take a minute to really think about it. While we might make many other resolutions or decisions to improve ourselves during the new year, are we living in a way that glorifies God? Have I made any resolutions to try and live a holier life? What part of my day helps me become a saint? Is my routine drawing me closer to God and helping me become who God created me to be? If not, how can I change that? Now, if you look at the lives of the saints, most of them were not born saints. Yes, there were a blessed few who were very holy from their childhood, but for most of them, they took small steps to sainthood. So what are some spiritual resolutions you could take this year? Try the heroic minute. The heroic minute is simply waking up as soon as your alarm rings without hitting the snooze button. Doesn't sound very spiritual, does it? The heroic minute concept came from Saint Jose Maria Escriva. He was a modern saint who wrote extensively on the discipline, dedication, and sanctity of daily life. He described the heroic minute as a mortification that strengthens your will without harming your body. Begin your day with a morning offering. Once you are awake, pray the morning offering. It's a simple prayer that surrenders the day, your thoughts, your work, your struggles, your joy, everything that needs to be done to God. While there are different forms of the morning offering, it is simply asking for God's grace to live out your day in a way that unites your will to His. Spend time in personal prayer. Before you start the rest of your day, spend time with God. Get to know God by reading the Bible. Share your thoughts or concerns with God. Maybe spend some time journaling your thoughts. End your day with a night examine. Reflect on what went well and what didn't. Think of how God worked throughout your day. Ask for forgiveness for the times you sinned or failed to practice charity. Thank God for the grace He gave you to practice virtue and do good. Find a way to spend time with God that works for you. Increase Marian devotion and sacramental living. Another spiritual resolution to try out is to increase your devotion to Mary and to grow close to Christ through the sacraments. Increase your devotion to Mother Mary by praying the rosary daily. Go for an extra mass during the week or daily mass if possible. Visit Jesus in the Blessed Sacrament. Make a commitment to go for confession every month. Pray together as a family. Find ways to celebrate feast days and special occasions of the liturgical year. Do some spiritual reading. Learn about the lives of the saints or read the books they wrote. Try to pick out a few saints to guide you this year and try to imitate their virtues. Read the catechism or other books that help you learn more about the faith. Invest in evangelization. Share Jesus with someone who needs it. Take time to invest in relationships and draw people closer to Christ. Practice corporal and spiritual works of mercy. Invite someone for Mass or for a Bible study session. Find new ways to tell people about Jesus. Try to plan a rule for your life. After you pick out a few things you want to work on, try to fit them into a routine. Most saints followed a rule of life that ordered or structured their day. It helped them plan out their activities in such a way that they had a balance between their time with God, with work, and for leisure. Your entire schedule should help you become who God created you to be. Now, all of us make resolutions with enthusiasm. We are determined to succeed and persevere. But for most of us, the reality is that we fail before we even begin. And why is that? Often we make goals that are impossible to achieve or are very vague. When we fail, we feel like a failure and often don't make the effort to try again. So, how can we avoid failure? While there is no foolproof method to avoid failure, we can try to make it easier to succeed. SMART goals. One method would be to make SMART goals: specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound goals. Have a major goal but break it down into smaller, manageable, and most importantly, achievable milestones. For example, your resolution might be to pray more. But what does that exactly mean? Does that mean an extra minute of prayer every day, a new prayer to include in your routine, or to start praying if you don't already? So, being specific is important. Now, say your goal is to pray for 1 hour daily. Don't set out to start praying a full hour if you haven't been able to sit for 2 minutes in silence before. Start with 5, then build up to 10, then 15, 20, and so on. Give yourself enough time. It usually takes weeks before something becomes a habit, but very often we give up before that. So the idea is to slowly but surely work your way towards achieving your goal. One thing at a time. Don't try to change everything about your life at the same time. Work on 1 or 2 things, and then once you've gotten used to those changes, work on the next set. Trying to do too much at once can be overwhelming and will just be setting yourself up for failure. Accountability partner. Most importantly, we fail because we don't have anyone to hold us accountable. Find someone who has similar resolutions so you could encourage and keep motivating each other to persevere. As humans, we will inevitably fall short and fail at some point, but it is important to remember to get up and try again. We can learn from our failures, readjust our goals if needed, and then push forward. As St. Paul says, not that I have already obtained this or am already perfect, I press on toward the goal for the prize of the upward call of God in Christ Jesus. Now, the saints spent their day trying to become saints. Their mornings and nights were spent with God. Their routines were ordered to empower them to serve God and His people. No matter what goals or resolutions you have for the new year, fix your eyes on the ultimate prize: union with God in heaven. And when you fail, don't worry about it. Just get up and move on. This is all just part of the journey. As Saint Josemaria said, to be faithful to God requires a constant battle, hand-to-hand combat, man to man, the old man against the man of God, in one small thing after another, without giving in. The new year is an opportunity for us to renew our lives. It is a chance to live a holier, more committed life of faith. It is the first step to sainthood. As G.K. Chesterton wrote, the object of a new year is not that we should have a new year, it is that we should have a new soul. So, what do you think about this? Have you already chosen some spiritual New Year's resolutions? Do you have any you would add to your list? How do you overcome failures or struggles to keep resolutions? Let us know in the comments below. Also, if you like this video, let us know by liking and subscribing to our channel. It really helps us a lot. Until next time.